Welcome back to Anxiety Makes Me Poop. It's Meredith. How's everybody doing? Listen, I just want to remind everyone that there's a book. There's actually 2 books out there called Anxiety Makes Me Poop. It's on Amazon. And the first one now is now on Audible. So yes, I do not love my voice. So I did not read it, and I did not hire someone yet. I am going to. So it is voice altered, or whatever you want to call it, AI. But it's good, and it's out there, and people are listening to it. So if you can, take a listen to it. And then also my hysterectomy book is out there as well for the same AI voice and such. It's not too bad, but if you just don't have time to actually hold a book and read it, or if you just don't have time to sit and read, maybe you could listen in your car or listen while you're working out or whatever, put it on 1.5 times, so that it goes fast. I mean, they're only 1 hour and 2 hour books. They're just about my life. So if you're interested, because maybe you're feeling the same way, go check it out on Amazon under my name. My uterus farewell tour and Anxiety Makes Me Poop. Go check them out. So, well, thanks. Anyways, let's talk about what I've been going through the past 3 months, because I feel like that's what this is all about. I have always been there to advocate for people and to say, you need to go get a second opinion. You need this, because of the experience that I have been through. So if you've never listened to anything before from here, thank you, first of all, for joining. And second, go back and listen to my uterus hysterectomy story that Cass and I are on, because it talks about how for 3 years, and because a doctor told me that there was nothing to worry about, nothing was wrong with me, it was old age, for 3 years, my uterus grew into a 2.5-pound tumor that I had to get removed in October of 2024. So it's been over a year now. So go listen to that one. Then maybe you'll understand why I'm such an advocate of getting second opinions, third opinions, fighting for what is right for you. So, and I just had it happen again. And I think this is happening to a lot of people. And I just want people to know that they got to keep reaching out. You got to keep fighting with your doctors. Not fighting, but you know what I mean? Like, keep fighting for yourself. Okay, truly. Okay, anyways, enough of that. I know I blab. A second opinion saved me this time. Actually, a third opinion saved me this time. All right, so the past 3 months, I kept telling my husband, I'm exhausted, something's wrong. And my body, what happens with my body is I sleep when something's wrong. Some of you might get more anxiety, or, you get the shakes, or your sugar drops, or you just feel off, you get headaches, whatever it is. We all have different things. Mine sleeps. So about 3 months ago, I started taking naps almost every single day. Like I would get up early and I would work till about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I could not keep my eyes open. I would have to sleep 30 minutes to an hour from like maybe 4 to 5 or 5 to 6, and then be able to go on with my night. But really, I'd be sleeping again by 7:30. And then I wasn't really sleeping well. And I thought, okay, well, it's just my sleeping pattern. This is me. I'm going to go with it. It's whatever. But then it started getting worse. Then it was like I was setting my alarm during the day from noon to 12:30 and having to sleep to get through my afternoon of work. And then I noticed that I just didn't really have any strength in me. Like I went to go open a jar, I went to go to work, right? I go to stores and I represent companies. So you have to sometimes stock products, takes pictures. I would be exhausted by the end of the day, or I just didn't have the strength to like pull a pallet or pull a U-boat or stock all day long. It was like, what is going on with me? And I've always been an athlete, older, young adult on. I wasn't a great athlete when I was younger because I had a whole bunch of other problems. But I've always been like an adult athlete. Like I can run lots of miles, I work out, I lift weights, and I just had no passion to do anything. So at the 3-month mark, I told my husband, I got to do something. And my mom's a nurse, so she was over one day and I said, listen, they said everything was fine. All my blood work's fine. The only thing that's missing are my hormones and iron. And after talking with a couple friends, they were like, yeah, you got to get your iron checked and you got to get your hormones checked. I'm really surprised they haven't checked that. And I just want to remind everyone, I am 50 years old. I do lie and say I'm 39 on both podcasts. I truly am 50 so that you can relate, okay, if you're in this age range with me. So anyways, so I told my mom, who's a nurse, and I said, I'm just going to reach out to my gynecologist and I'm going to reach out to my regular doctor and say, listen, is it okay if I get my iron checked? Because I'm not seeing it in the past 5 years. I'm not seeing that my iron was checked. And a couple of friends were telling me that, sometimes that happens. And I said, I want to know where I'm at hormone level. Like, am I in perimenopause? Am I in menopause? I never had any symptoms. I think it's because I was sick. My uterus was sick for 3 years. And so I could have gone through menopause during that time, but I did not know. I did not have the hot flashes. I only did because of my uterus. Like, I would wake up with that, sweat or whatever. I wasn't exhausted. I was still able to run. I still was fine. I didn't have the brain fog. But these past 3 months, I started to realize that I would go to say something. I couldn't think of the word. I couldn't catch the word. I was like, oh man, something's going on. All right. So I reached out to my gynecologist and I said, could I please get my hormone levels checked and my iron? So sure enough, what I thought when I went to go look at it before she responded back, you know how when you have an app and you can get your results. So of course I put them into ChatGPT, into Google. I called my mom and I said, here's what I'm at. And everyone said, oh yeah, you have no iron. It's like, I think for my age, it was supposed to be like greater than, let me just say it's like 93 or something like that. And I had 6. I think it was the ferritin or something like that. Okay. So I can get you exact if you want. Maybe I'll put it in the notes here so you know exactly where my levels were, but I don't want you to concentrate on my levels. You should just go get your blood work done if you feel like something's going on with your iron. Okay. Anyways, so my mom, said, yeah, that looks low, but then my hormones were in menopause stage. So my gynecologist wrote back with her specialty and said, everything is normal. Patient is in menopause. So in other words, like, I'm done, like no So I was like, whoa, oh, okay. Maybe that's why I'm so exhausted. I didn't even realize that I was going through it. I didn't have any symptoms. I know a lot of people have symptoms. I had none. I was like, oh, well, I'm done here. We're done here, So then luckily, first, let me just talk about the week of having her say that everything was normal, because a couple people, including my mom, who's a nurse, and myself doing the research, showed that my iron was very low, not anemic, but very low. And I was like, okay, well, maybe that's the problem. But I wasn't going to take anything. I wasn't going to start any supplements until I heard from my PCP, my regular doctor, which was luckily the Friday after. So I talked with my gynecologist on Monday. The Friday after, I was meeting with my PCP, my regular physician, who's fantastic. So I get there and I tell her, hey, something's going on. I haven't been feeling great these past 3 months. So I did ask my doctor for hormone check and iron. What do you think? She said everything was normal. And my doctor looked at me and she goes, your iron's very low, like very low. Well, you need to start on supplements. Have you started on supplements yet? And I said, no, I wanted to wait for you. She goes, yeah, let's get this going. 325 milligrams every night, and start taking those. Okay, perfect. It was so nice to hear that I wasn't normal because I wasn't feeling normal. And then I asked her about my hormones and she said, that's being 50. I didn't want to accept that answer because I know how I want to feel. I am very active. I'm very young at heart. I just did not want to be exhausted because of my hormone levels. So for 1 week, I started on iron. And I think it has helped a little bit. This is a very slow process to rebuild your iron. Just know that it's not 24 hours. You take one pill and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah. Maybe for some people, not for me. It's been 4-5 weeks now, and I think I'm just starting to feel better. I don't bruise as easily. If I bump something, you always get bruises on my hand and bruises on my legs. Like, it was very low. If that's a side effect, I'm not sure, or if I'm just rough with my body, I have no idea. Not a medical person whatsoever. I only trust those that have the degree. Anyways, I decided after talking to a few friends that, and I'm going to name them, that I was going to talk with a specialist from Midi Health, Midi Health. So I had a friend in Florida, I have a friend in Arizona, and I have a friend here that all said, yeah, it changed my life. HRTs changed my life. And they all had different situations. So they all had different hormones that they were put on. And actually one did have low iron as well during the same exact time that I did, like kind of in the same, it happened the same way. Okay. So I was like, well, I don't really want to start on anything. My doctor said I was normal. I trust these doctors, which they are fabulous. They are fabulous. I'm not saying anything bad about my doctors. They just know that this is what happens. It's a natural occurrence for all women, all of us, right? But I decided to make the appointment. And I talked to a lovely, lovely nurse that said, thank you for sending over all of your lab results. I wanted her to see all my lab results. I sent everything so that she could look through it all. I mean, I sent everything, my whole panel, including the iron, including the hormones, so that she would know. What she described to me, though, was thank you for sending over all of these results. But what we also do is we focus on how you feel and your symptoms. And that was such a relief for me. She was going to listen. It was a half an hour appointment, and we used 29 and a half minutes to talk about my symptoms, what the plan was. She was going to meet me every 4 weeks so that we can continue adjusting if need be. I was so excited. And so she did come up with a patch, which is very popular. Some people take pills if they can't have the adhesive. My friend actually is one of them. We were going to do a patch with a very low dose of estrogen. And then they do put you on something, you talk to your doctor, to save the lining of your uterus. But because I don't have a uterus, I didn't need it. But because I don't sleep and I'm up every couple hours, sometimes it's every hour, like last night, it was just crazy. She said, why don't I try this? And I'll put it all in my notes, okay, so that you can go see what I did. Why don't we try this medicine at night? It does relax the body and help you sleep even if you don't have a uterus. And let me tell you, it does. The first couple nights that I took it at 7 because I didn't want to feel like the hangover the next day of taking it. And by 8:30, my eyes were like, and my body was so relaxed and I felt so good. And then I slept through the night. I was getting up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, which is a big difference from getting up at midnight to 4. So, I mean, it's terrible. My sleep patterns are terrible. That medicine has absolutely helped. Again, I'll put everything in the notes. Okay. So yeah, so it's been 3 weeks and I think I'm feeling better. Now, the question is, I don't know if I'm feeling better because I started taking iron supplements, or if I started on hormones, or both. So the first week, there was nothing, okay? I was just like, that's okay. We're going to keep doing this, right? We're going to keep trying it. The second week was almost night and day. Like, I was just like, oh, this is it. This is what people talk about. All my friends were like, you're going to love it, okay? And I was like, amazing. Now, this third week, not so much. I feel like I'm back to being tired. And so I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe gave my body a boost and then maybe it didn't. Now, did I miss a day or two of iron? Yes. Okay. That's on me. I'm going to say that out loud. You got to take the stuff. You got to try it, right? You got to make sure you keep taking it. But I've also been doing research on when you're supposed to take iron, and you don't want to take it with caffeine. You don't want to take it. So I have my thyroid is dead. They killed it with radiation with the iodine. So I have to take Synthroid, but they said, don't take your iron right after your Synthroid. So I have to take decided that I was going to take my iron after lunch, as long as I don't have caffeine. Well, sometimes I'm at work, sometimes I'm at a store, sometimes I'm at the office, and I forget to bring it with. I have to get on the habit of bringing it with so that I can take it at noon. So that is on me. So we're going to be working on that this week to see if maybe that makes everything better again. I missed a couple days. So again, don't miss on anything. The other thing that happened this past week is that because I work out so much, I sweat a lot, the patch keeps falling off. So I did reach out to my nurse at Midi Health, and she said, just really try hard to keep that patch, because if you're feeling better, we really got to see if this works before we adjust it when I see her on the 23rd, which is next Monday. No problem. I used a little alcohol to dry my skin. They also think that sometimes cornstarch dries your skin, so then you can put the patch on. So I've been lucky now. These past 4 days, it has stayed on, and then I can switch again tomorrow. So, and I put it on my lower, like just above my hip, like kind of where I have a little extra. I'm not like fat. I don't want to say my fat, but it is like I tried to put it on the back of my arm, but like I'd put lotion on my arms in the morning. I would wipe it off on accident. You can put it on the top of your hip, on the on your buttocks. You could do that, but I couldn't. That didn't work either. So I do kind of have it on my lower, like kind of across from my belly button on the sides. Anyways, so yeah, just find what works for you. So The whole point of this episode always is to let you know that you're not alone. If you're 50 and you're not feeling good, please go see a doctor. Or, I mean, I'm not sponsored. I'm not sponsored by Midi Health. I'm just saying I'm not sponsored by Midi Health, but check them out. I got very lucky. I know that there's some comments out there, that maybe they didn't work well with their nurse practitioner or their nurse or whatever. But you know what? A doctor signs off on everything. And you have to be your own advocate. Don't wait for them to call you. Book an appointment. I booked an appointment on a Monday. And then when I was on the call with my nurse, I said, can you please book us now for 4 weeks? Like you have to fight for what you want. Okay. So now again, was it a miracle? Did I switch? The second week I was like, oh, here we go. I feel good. My runs were great and my muscles didn't hurt. And now this third week, I'm kind of like, man, I'm a little foggy. I'm a little tired. The eyes are a little tired. It could be anything, right? I'm also on a calorie deficit. I'm doing 12. I think I'm on 1,200 calories now, just trying to lose the last 10 pounds. So I'm going to have to get my blood work done again to see if anything's been affected with the 15-pound weight loss. I'm not on any weight loss drugs. I just want to make sure I let you know that. I have been doing it my own. I use the Lose It app and count my calories for now. I have some friends that are taking aid in losing weight and are doing fabulous along with their iron and their multivitamins and all that. So do what makes you happy. Do what's going to work for your body. Just please be careful and make sure that you have a doctor involved, okay? So the whole point, again, to this is second opinions matter. And the biggest message here is it's not that doctors get it wrong. The theme here is that if you're feeling off, keep asking questions. Man, I reached out to a whole bunch of friends like, what do you do? You're 50. What do you do? And they were like, you have to do this. You have to do this. It made it so much better. That kind of thing. If something doesn't sit right with you, get another opinion, which is exactly what I did. So, and then, in my mind, everyone was like, your gynecologist should have looked at your iron and been like, well, that's low. Why did she say it was normal? Yeah, I get that, but that's not her specialty. So luckily the Friday after I was with my PCP and she was like, yeah. So I don't know a lot about hormones, but yeah, that's normal. But let's talk about the iron, right? So that's why you get that second opinion. People are looking at specific things because that's what they learned. If you're given information without solutions, ask for clarity, ask the questions, be the bother. And I'll give you a perfect example. When my mom was here, I said, Mom, I'm not feeling it. Like I'm not feeling it. Am I a bother if I write to them and say, I would really like to get this done? And she goes, do it. Do you know within 5 minutes in the portal, the nurse wrote back and said, go ahead. I go to the hospital, the local hospital here and get my blood work done. Whenever you're ready, go ahead. And it was all my hormones and my iron. It was within 5 minutes. It wasn't even a bother. So you are not being a bother. Okay. Your body is not dramatic. Your intuition is not inconvenient. Please know this. Seeking another perspective is not disrespectful either. It's responsibility to yourself. If you want to feel better, if you don't want to sit on the couch, if you don't want to be taking naps, if you want to be doing it, you're all like, I go 150%, if not 200% all in. Like work hard, play hard. That is me. There's a picture of me there. I did not like that I had to set my alarm during the day during work because I was exhausted. I did not like having to walk during my runs. And, even yesterday was kind of a hard day. I ran with my good friend, my running partner. She was my Galentine running partner for Valentine's. And the first 2 miles, my sugar dropped. I didn't feel good. But then you know what? The last ones were great. The last 4 or 5 that we did, I felt fine. It happens. But especially for women navigating iron levels, maybe you had a surgery, perimenopause, menopause, all of it. We're often told to tolerate, to wait it out, to see if something improves. But you know what? Sometimes we actually need to hear someone tell us, here is what's happening. Let's try to fix it. Let's get you better. Let's get you to the person that you want to be. If you're tired and you don't know why, if your labs are, and I'm putting this in quotes, fine, but you don't feel fine. If you get a diagnosis with no roadmap, oh my gosh, you got to have a roadmap, a next step. Please listen. You are allowed to seek more information. You are allowed to advocate for yourself. Assemble a team if you have to, like I did. I surrounded myself with people that had the same experience as me, that gave me some ideas. I surrounded myself with people 4 or 5 weeks ago or so. some people that I trust. I had 3 or 4 friends that I reached out and said, listen, this is what's going on. They were like, oh my God, yeah, same. Last year, this is what I did, and this is what I did. And all of them had the same Midi Health that they use. I think one had her regular doctor. Yeah. So, I mean, you can go anywhere. You can go, wherever you're comfortable with. Second opinions, they might create some anxiety for you. Don't let it. They're there. They're there. Tell them, this is my second opinion. Here is what happened. Make sure you keep all your facts straight, please. Please don't lie to the second opinion. Just say, here's all the facts. That's what I did to my nurse. I said, here they all are. This is from my doctor, please. And she reviewed every single one of them. And then we made a plan along with learning my symptoms. Okay. Don't let someone reduce how you're feeling. Okay. You know how you're feeling. All right. If you need the support, go get it. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I've had actually a few people call me. Some of my friends call me. Or if you want, please send me an email, anxietymakesmepoop@gmail.com. I will be happy to answer what I know about myself and my experience. I'm not going to give you any medical advice, but I'll tell you what I did if it helps. Okay. So yeah, very, very powerful message here. Please keep fighting for the way that you want to feel. All right. I'll put everything in the notes. I'll talk to you next time.